watched the creator talk about how he's not depressed, but life is just not doing it for him. I thought about this and I knew exactly why. I've felt this way too when I was much younger. And the reason that I felt this way is because of this simple reason. You're not creating, you're just living. You're not building anything, you're simply existing. And living is just the base. It's like having a plot of land and expecting there to be a house when the land is there, but you haven't built anything on it. And so I think that's why people feel empty even when they're doing everything right. They go to the gym, they eat clean, they have a family, a house, a career. They check all the boxes, but they're still not satisfied. Like something is still missing in their life because they're missing that last piece. I only realized this when I started doing it in my life. At the end of the night, you need to sit down and take notes on your thoughts. You need to align with yourself. You need to write down the next chapter for the main character. And there was a point in my life where I didn't feel like the main character. I didn't feel like I was a main character in the movie. Not realizing that everyone has their own movie and everyone is the main character in that. And you are too. You are the main character. You know, recently I had some family over and I had the shades open in our living room. And they asked, "Why do you have the shades open? Like everyone can see inside." And I said, "I want them to know." And they looked at me and they said, "Know what?" "I want them to know that I'm the main character." And they looked at me like I was delusional, like I was saying something cliche. And it is cliche. We hear it all the time on the self-help gurus and the content that we consume. But the thing is, part of it, it's true. You do need to be the main character. That's the thing. You have to be delusional. You have to give your life that type of meaning because that's what makes it a great life. You're supposed to be the main character of your life, not a side character in someone else's story. But many people are floating around doing things that satisfy them, but they're not delusional to that main character level yet. And so they feel as if life isn't hitting, even though they're doing everything the textbooks say. Gym, healthy food, family, house, career, cars. They're forgetting that last piece. Sitting down at the end of the night, taking some notes, aligning with yourself, writing the next chapter for the main character. That's what makes life complete. I see too often that people give things the meaning. People allow like money to define the meaning in their life. I never wanted things or a house or a car to define and give meaning in my life. I wanted the internal things in my life to give meaning, and I wanted to find out what is the next chapter for me that I want to pursue. And knowing that next chapter, having that written down, knowing like what is the next thing that I want to pursue, gives my life that meaning. So then everything connects. Everything that I'm creating, everything that I'm building connects together. There's nothing wrong with having a career, a big house, money, a family, going to the gym, eating healthy. You need to have that like grand plan, that grand like scheme, like the journey, the adventure, the book in a sense. Like you are the main character. What are you doing all of this for? Because in all the movies that you watch, you see that the main character goes through things in their life. They go through things in the movie. Later on in the movie, like the plots and the dots connect. And you're sitting there and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's why when they did that so they could do this now." That's the same way that your life has to be. You have to be the main character. You have to have a plan. You have to like have that grand scheme where you leave yourself clues or you leave yourself certain things so that when you are in the future, you come back to that time and you revisit it almost as a spectator in your own life, as an audience member in your life, watching how this main character unfolded. There's no better joy that I have in my life than taking the back seat of my own life and watching my character develop, watching myself go through like a bunch of shit in my life and certain obstacles, challenges, and the good times and the bad times, and trying things, doing stuff, and seeing how I develop as a person, and then watching the things work out, and it's like, damn, now I get it. Now I get why that happened. Now I see why I did that. And then redoing the plot in a sense, or rewriting the story to the new plot going forward in your life, like how that next phase is going to unravel. That's what makes life complete. You know, when you're not just living, when you're creating, go out and be the main character. Go out and do the things that you need to do in life. Sit down and write about them. Think about them. Think deeply about the things, the decisions that you make in life. Go forward knowing that the decisions that you make today will affect you some way in the future. So you do want to be cautious of the decisions that you make, but you do also want to know that it's okay to make mistakes in those decisions, because in the mistakes is where you extract all the lessons, and then you go back and you rewrite again, and you go back and you continue that cycle, and you go back and you watch the main character develop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.